Welcome back to now after the 5 rounds of Swiss, we have a quarterfinals match here. Red Green Goblins against Enchantress. We have Red Green Goblins on the left with a mulligan to 6, and Enchantress starting off with a brushland into something here. Probably not a a Mirror's Guile. I would say hopefully not a wild growth on a non-basic because that can blow you out completely against the wasteland. And a turn 1 lackey because that is how goblins play. If it's a match of matter, they and there's something on the line. There are some nice prizes in this tournament. I don't remember what they were, but there were some prizes. They do have the turn 1 lackey, and turn 1 lackey is no joke. It can spiral out of control extremely fast. And elephant grass, we don't see that much anymore. And he swings, and it connects, hitting a ringleader. Or not hitting, deploying a ringleader. That doesn't really do much. It finds a sharpshooter, which does nothing in this matchup. So that was lucky for our Enchantress player. And thinking about, does he port or does he... yeah, okay, he develops. Pile driver. Protection from blue will do absolutely nothing here, but it is a fast attack for next turn. That's 8 damage if he just goes aggressively here. So he can swing for 8 next turn. And that will mean that our Enchantress player will go to 10 life. But what can you do about it? He needs to stop this turn or next turn, or else he will be dead. Reading lucky here. 3. Solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is nice, and it might be too quickly deployed, I guess. But against goblins, I guess you could draw or gain some turns, a turn or two. With the confinement, your life total cannot change through damage. Sharpshooter. Of course, your life total can change. You cannot gain damage from creatures, and you have Shroud, and it goes to the bin. So he bought himself a turn. Mirror Skull action here. Mirror Skull is a card that wasn't really played a lot, but at some point people found it quite good. Especially if you have ways to fetch, which this color combination does, then you can look at the top 3 cards, you can fetch, you can still look at the top 3 cards, so you can do it twice in a turn. And now comes half of the reason why this deck is really difficult to play against for creature decks. The Enchantress players does explain that this has fading, it has fading 5. If you want to, you can remove a counter and remove target creature from the game until this this parallax wave goes back in or goes to the graveyard. So you can kinda hold them back for a little bit. If it's combined with Opalescence, it's another story. Let's see if he gets to the full combo. Fetching, finding another nice unglued mountain. We saw the unglued forests a couple of games back in round 4, I believe. And now we see the mountains. And another ringleader. Maybe he can hit something this time that does something. Matron, War Chief, and Siege Gang. Okay, nice hits. Nice hits. So now the Enchantress players the player on the right here needs to remove the lackey. It will be too much of a problem, probably also the pile driver. Removes one, removes the other one. I think you should just take the rest. If you eat, so to say, these creatures here, when they go back, the ringleaders, they trigger again. When they enter the battlefield, they trigger. So you need to be wary of that. You need to be able to remove them totally. But let's see, can he find the opalescence here? I think that is what it comes down to. Can he do that? Because it has its last counter on it. And then we'll see action if it happens. 2, 3 mana, 4 mana. Take one. Yeah, opalescence. So now all enchantments are creatures. And the wave can remove itself, resetting itself. Then there should be a lackey trigger. Then there should be a lackey trigger. But it doesn't matter now that he has the lock. Against this Goblins deck, you don't care about the lock. You have assembled the win here, I guess. Now he's explaining the combo here. He removes some creatures, holds priority, and while it's on the stack, it removes itself. So they are removed like they don't come back. You put some on the stack and you remove itself to it while still on the stack, then it's another way that it can play instead of the one on the field. And this is where I guess knowledge of game rules comes in hand quite well. And he swings for one with his Mirror, which is a 1/1 now. Going from old school to pre-modern. I don't know about the player on the left, if he is one of the old schoolers. If you're just trying out this format and you don't know about this Opal Wave combo, you are in for a surprise, because it's so devastating against creatures, and it sounds like something that shouldn't even work, but it does work like that. Ringleader, desperately looking for something, although the cards he's looking for are naturalize, and ways to find it, because removing the opalescence with naturalize is possible, but you cannot even target the wave. It will just remove itself and come back, and then it's another one, so not the targeted one. This is why all decks with this combo are nice. Replenish and are not nice, they're well positioned against creature decks. They are quite oppressive. Replenish and this Enchantress deck are, well, difficult decks to beat for creature-based decks. Okay, he goes to untap. Remember that it's a creature, so now he can swing for 5. And he haven't even had his draw. Okay, now his draw engine comes online. I was going to say that his draw engine weren't even online, so he's just lucky, very lucky with his draws. Mirror Guile, played, trigger, draw. And then he swings for 5. Yeah, those are creatures. Those can attack and kill you faster than you think. Next turn, he can swing for 4 more. Cycling the Incinerator does no damage. Mock Fanatic. Pings. And I think this is game. But they are playing it out. They are playing it out. There is an out in Naturalize and a forest, but he only has he doesn't have either green mana or the naturalize already, so not enough time here. 3 mana, another presence. So whenever he drops an enchantment, it's draw 2 instead of draw 1. And we have a bunch of mana here. Another wave. That is strong. While it's on the stack, you put the draw triggers on the stack because it's when you play, not when they enter. Draw 2. And put a seal into play, draw 2. Yeah, that battlefield is a mess. It's the same with elves. You flood your board so extremely hard. You need like some kind of system to know what has summoning sickness, what doesn't, and where my land's going to be. And so, because the playmat is only so big, Sterling Grove can find enchantments and put on top of your library. But if you have like this draw engine going on, it doesn't matter with the card disadvantage, and your stuff has Shroud. Draw. And does he have it? He has a Mog Fanatic, and that is game one. Enchantress showing what Enchantress can do. It's a hell of a deck, and the best combo deck, maybe, in the format. At least well positioned. If you are playing MTGO or Magic the Gathering online and are using a rental service, or if you want to do that, I have a link in the description for a referral and a coupon code which makes you get 30% off on your next subscription. So consider that, and onto the video. Now for game 2 here, and we have Goblins starting out, and if okay, letting go of 2 cards here, keeping a port and probably, yeah, a wasteland and a fetch, so we can get started right away with some 1 mana whatever. And we saw a fine looking hand from our Enchantress player as well, but no turn 1 play here, so no turn 1 Lackey. And we see a turn 1 Mirror's Guile. Mirror's Guile is quite a nice 1-drop for your turn 1, setting up for your next couple of turns. Wasteland is deployed, and we have a Lackey. This looks better. Lackey on turn 1 would have been much better, but this looks good. This looks solid for a Goblins player. Brushland and Wild Growth on a Brushland. You never want to play those Wild Growths on non-basics if you can hinder it. Also, he knows that he is up against a Wasteland deck, so quite a dangerous position to put yourself in. And of course, keeping up port for the upkeep here kinda looks good. There are very few instances that can be deployed from the Enchantress deck. And we saw Matron being put on to the battlefield from our Lackey, and it finds a Siege Gang, so next turn Siege Gang will be dropped for free, of course, and the mana denial plan is just doing so much work here. Mirror's Guile, and probably finds a land. Now he can find a basic land, but this looks almost too slow. Draw and just swing for 2. And a Siege Gang is put into play with these nice Goblins tokens from Unglued. I like when people actually find some nice tokens, be it these Unglued ones or something they made themselves or got like from a prize or something. I like when tokens are not just, as I have used in my own videos prior to these ones, the back of a Magic card. But this looks like a lot of power. And will he be able to get back in this game as Enchantress? He will need 4 mana for a wave. And getting to 4 mana in this situation doesn't look promising. Nice forest there. Maybe a beta one. Cannot see the corners here, but probably beta. And now Guile activation. I could be wrong here, but I thought that port was... Yeah, port is activated, of course. So 1 mana up. What can you do with that? Fetch to find a white source. Another beta land here. Plains, basic plains. And what can you do here? Is it just a seal? No, okay, Sabo's Web. Sabo's Web is nice. Now the port doesn't untap. And next turn he has 4 mana, so this could be what seals the deal here with a wave. Another port. And he swings for 7. So he is probably dead on board here. Yep, he is definitely dead on board. So here, yeah, getting to port once again. And hindering a wave activation. This, I think this is correctly played. He cannot get back if there's a wave in play, especially if there's an opalescence also. I think we saw one of them in the starting hand. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see here. Okay, does he have it? Or does he not have it? Wooded Foothills. And ships back the turn. And now all goblins has haste. Oh, wow. And cost 1 less, so that is a bunch of power swinging here, and that is game. Yep, we are going to have a third game. 1-1 here. Third game. I like when you are able to play 3 games, because then you, although you might lose, you have won something. And I like to walk away from my match and feel like I did something correctly. And okay, that is a powerful Enchantress hand there. I'm not a Goblins expert, but it doesn't look too explosive. And we do have Wild Growth into one of the draw engines, and he actually have 2 draw engines in his hand. So this, yeah, okay, Lackey, of course, is explosive, but I didn't see a good creature to put down with Lackey, and that, yeah, Lackey itself can be quite challenging to deal with, but if it only puts down 2 mana casting creatures, it's not that powerful. Unglued Forest, nice. And here we see a Reader, and if you haven't played against Enchantress before, these 0/1 Shroud creatures, you kind of cannot deal with them how you normally deal with creatures. Of course, you can Engineer Plague, you can Pyroclasm, but he doesn't have those in his deck. But you can get rid of them, but it's difficult. And whenever you cast an enchantment, you draw a card, and you don't. It doesn't have to resolve, so you cannot just counter it and counter the draw. You still get to draw. So this deck can spiral out of control quite quickly, and that is the plan of the deck, to spiral out of control before you're dead. So basically here, We do have a siege gang deployed from our Goblin, so yeah, the Enchantress player is facing some nice action over there, but maybe we'll see Presence here, Enchantress Presence, which is 3 mana and the same effects, but it's on an enchantment. 1, 2, 3, yeah, we do, and there's a draw trigger. Playing land for turn. Sarah's Sanctum taps for 2 at the moment, but can also be a problem later on. But we do see that this Goblin stack have Wastelands, so there's that to consider, and also ports, but Wasteland is of course better than it's gone for good. But will the Goblins be able to do this quickly enough? I'm not sure what side I would be on here. I would probably be on Goblin's side because I like to deploy creatures. Okay, 2/2 Haster deployed and Reverend Silence. So your opponent gains 6 life and you can play it for free if you have a forest in play and you destroy all enchantments. That's nice. Okay, he's back in the game. Attacks for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Swings for 9, so swings for 3 practically from that life gain. And Matron is dropped from Lackey, probably finding a ringleader here to gain more gas. Yep, ringleader it is. Enchantress is not dead yet. Exploration triggers, draw a card, and has 2 land drops still to make. And now Sarah's Sanctum actually taps for mana. But I'm not sure if he can get out of this. There's so much power on the field here. 1 or 2 turns left, depending on what the Goblin player can drop from his hand before combat. Taps for 1, sorts the plowshares, so doesn't want to see a War Chief in play. And unless the Goblins player has a land drop, he cannot deploy his creature before combat. Okay, he has lands. He has plenty of lands. So now what? Does he just swing? Or does he deploy before combat? It doesn't really make sense to deploy anything before combat. I guess it doesn't really matter here. But, okay, yeah, it does have haste, though. Ringleader does have haste, in fact. Land, Goblin, Goblin, Goblin. So 4 mana for a 2/2 haste, draw 3 cards. Draw 3 actually good cards. And our Enchantress plays is shaking. Not what you want to see here. And swings for bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Swings for 10. Can we get a board wipe here? Is it possible? The deck doesn't play Wrath of God, so you can't do that. 3 mana. What are you going to do here? Presence, draw. Yikes. It looks like Goblin is going to take this one. And yeah, we do have a handshake, and that is it. Goblins went to win a quarterfinal here, and we do not have a semi-final match, so the next one will be the finals.